Okay, by the way, I met Safir about 10 minutes ago. And I said, listen, what is the plan? What questions do you want me to ask you? And in typical Safir style, he says, we'll figure it out on the spot. So one of the characteristics in his book, one of the things he writes about is jugaad. And this entire session is jugaad. I mean, the confidence of the man. I asked him, do you want to talk about the book? He said, no, no, we can do whatever you want. I mean, this example of confidence I've only seen in one situation. There was a 75-year-old man who somehow managed to pick up a 35-year-old woman. He's on the way home with her. He said, listen, we need to stop at the shops for 5 minutes. He walks into the chemist and he said, can I get a Viagra, please? As he's about to walk out, he sees this lady in the car, very attractive, turns around. She says, can I get one more Viagra, please? Takes another one. He's about to leave. Again, he sees her. He goes back to the chemist. He says, give me one more. The chemist looks at this old man. He said, sir, I need to warn you. 3 Viagras in a night can result in death. Old man looks at the chemist. He says, my friend, if she dies, she dies. All right. So let me tell you how this session is going to run. The 75 things that Safir has written about are India-ness. It's quirks that make India uniquely India. I want each of you to think in your own heads of India-ness, what it means to you, and some unique characteristics of your city, your town, your family. And I'm going to come around to you guys and ask you questions. Whoever has the best answer is going to get a signed book from Safir. And for every point you give us, Safir is going to give us a point as well. So Safir, let me throw it at you first. You get to pick the first subject of India-ness. And hopefully by then we'll have somebody's hand up who has their own idea. Let's go.
I think I'll start with something more serious because anyways it's going to get fun. And you know, a story that I'll narrate out of my book. When we were kids and we would travel in cars to hill stations and we would cross the villages, as kids, you know, I would put my nose up like this and I'll say, we're crossing a village and look at these guys, they're looking at cow dung and how silly that they pick it up and put it on their homes. That was about 45 years back or so. Today, with global warming, with global energy crisis, if you look at those villages, they were way ahead of times. They didn't have the resources. They knew how to get their chulas running by using an alternate source of energy. And today I look at them and say, were they so ahead of time that they are one of the quirks in my book, and I salute their spirit towards the innovation that they did, which at that time as a kid was annoying to me, and today I am hats off to that. So the book is essentially about sentiments of India. It's about recognizing Indians in every aspect, from a dhobi to a domestic servant to a salaried worker, and to come and say that India is not about Taj Mahal only. It's not about just the fact of 130 crores of people, and that's people talk about. It's about a beautiful country that is so chaotic that there's beauty in that chaos, and it all comes together and it gives us a lot of peace at heart, and that's exactly what Indianness is about. So I started off on a serious note. Of course, we'll get more comic, but I just thought that getting the sentiment was also relevant here, and not just the humor of it. It's not a satire on India, it's a salute to India.
Okay, I'm just going to get a sense of the audience in the room. People in their 20s and below, give me a cheer. A few people in their 20s. 30s, give me a cheer. Not sounding as happy as the people in their 20s. 40s, give me a cheer. This is just peer pressure, okay? 50s, give me a cheer. Happy guys, kids have gone to college. 60 and above, don't cheer, just breathe. By the way, sir, did you say you were in your 20s? 30s, good. If you said you were in your 20s, I was going to say the years have not been kind. Okay, anyone got any quirks about their family's Indianness that you want to talk about? Madam, did you have something you were going to say? Excellent, I'm going to come to you. By the way, what are the different cities we have people here? Anyone from Mumbai? Mumbai, give me a cheer. Madam, your hand went up very quickly in Mumbai. Hello. If there's a communication problem in the middle, just ask me questions, because I live in Delhi, and sometimes as people who live in Delhi, we don't understand the language you speak in Bombay. Seriously, like we call it bread, you call it pav. We call it pyaz, you call it kanda. We call it a servant quarter, you call it a 2 BHK. Go ahead.
All right. I'm from Pune and very close to Bombay, but I grew up, I'm Persian as well. So the first Bollywood movie I watched was Qyamat Se Qyamat Tak. So I'm a big Bollywood buff. For me, India is Bollywood. Okay, no matter where you go in the world, everybody knows Shah Rukh Khan, everybody knows all the Ganas that we sing. So I think that when I growing up, I would always think that Indians have no better work than to just break into a dance. And even I wanted to, at every occasion, to change my clothes multiple times for a song. So I think for me, India is Bollywood.
Okay, sounds like our author has got a dance request from somebody in the audience.
Yes. Absolutely. I
And
mean, like,
since-
totally up.
Ma'am, since you mentioned you break into a dance all the time, why don't you quickly get on stage and do a little dance with Safir? Quickly, we don't have time. Let's go. थोड़ा Bollywood music है. कुछ Bollywood music है. कुछ भी चलाओ. Safir, come on. Let's see if there's some dance behind those colors. Ready? Music? No Bollywood music. क्या? Anybody got Bollywood music on their phone? Somebody got a nice song they can put? Ma'am, quickly. Hurry up. Oh God, like the timing is going. Safir, in the meanwhile, say something about Bollywood. Until then, I'll get a song going.
So just to lessen your expectations, in Bollywood there's also a villain, and I'm playing the villain in this dance. And the villain is basically standing with a glass of whiskey, stereotype, with a whole gang around him, and whatever the heroine does in terms of a dance, at the end of the dance he just can't hold back. He will join in and he will do something or the other.
Come on, Safir!
In the nature of what we do.
Alright! Alright, can you give this lady a round of applause? Yeah! Alright. Okay, who's next? Somebody got a hand up? Yes, ma'am. Let's get a microphone to this lady here. Can you pass me that mic number 1? Over to you. What is your name, ma'am? And please.
Hi, I'm Paramita. I'm from Kolkata. I come here especially for the JLF, and you've really got the house on fire. So my crazy quirk, and I think it's for everybody here, why do we always stand up the minute the flight lands? It's like a switch that goes like pop, and we stand up, but we've sat through the entire damn flight. So that's the Indian quirk. It doesn't happen anywhere in the world, I can promise.
See, I can't help myself. I'm a stand-up comedian. Right? And he has Viagra, so he's standing up anyway. Do you have any response to that? By the way, madam, I grew up in Calcutta. I remember taking driving lessons in London. This instructor says, "Oh, you Indians, why don't you drive in a straight line?" I said, "Listen, I'm not used to it. I grew up in Calcutta." Right? In England, you drive on the left of the road. In Calcutta, we drive on what is left of the road. Safir, you want to respond to this lady? What is your name, ma'am? Paramita.
I'm not going to add on your stand-up part because I just like the analogy, but what I'm going to say is that at the end of the book, I've left this book for collaboration with all of you and said that, we must all contribute to more Indianness. So do make it a point to add to the 76th chapter and the 77th chapter and as many chapters as you want, and we'll have a even more aligned Indianness.
Typical lawyer. He wants you guys to do the work and he's going to take the money. I'm kidding. All proceeds from his book go to the Salam Balak Trust charity as well. So just so you know that. Right, who's next? Anybody else? We've got a hand up over there. Quickly run. Otherwise I'm going to have to keep telling stories. Then we'll come to you, ma'am. The girl there in the back. Sir, mane ladies ka aapne microphone le liya yaar. We'll come back to you. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Ruchira from Bangalore. I think something that's very Indian is selective vegetarianism. So Saturday vegetarian, Tuesday vegetarian, Thursday vegetarian, and like eggs and cakes, but not omelets, and eggs, including eggs vegetarian, no eggs vegetarian. We have so many kinds of vegetarianism.
Super. Can we give you a round of applause? Safir, are you vegetarian on any days? Anything you want to comment on that?
I just look at the food and decide. So that is another option. I agree with you, actually. I'm vegetarian if I find something on the plate which is non-vegetarian. And on the other hand, if I find something which is very exotic, then I just change. And Indian vegetables, which are a part of my book, are amazing. There's a beautiful chapter there about a vegetable vendor and how beautifully he adapts to go to a mandi and to come bring the vegetables home, and how he does his economics and how he contributes to Indianness at the convenience of our doorsteps.
By the way adaptation also works in our country, there's a wonderful story about vegetables and adaptation. Akbar and Birbal were having lunch one day, and Bengan was served. And Akbar said, yeah, this Bengan is very nice. Birbal said, Jahan Pana, Bengan is an amazing vegetable. Kya swad hai? 2 weeks passed, they're having Bengan again. This time Akbar said, I didn't really enjoy it. Now Birbal said, Jahan Pana, Bengan, terrible vegetable. It has no nutritional value. Suddenly Akbar says, boss, 2 weeks ago I said nice things, you were praising it. Now you are saying this, where's your integrity? He says, Jahan Pana, I work for you. I don't work for the Bengan. Hey, what is this? 4 people clapping. Yeah, clap all together. Okay, microphone to that lady over there, and then this gentleman over here. We'll come to you as well. Give me some more volume, yeah.
I think some.
Mic number 3.
Hello.
Oh, those guys are being distracted by how awesome our audience is. Wow. Yes, ma'am, go
I
for
think
it.
one thing very unique to us Indians is whether it is trying to get into a lift or driving around on the roads, we are in a hurry. But somehow we never reach on time.
Don't you have a chapter on 2 minutes?
We are the most beautiful country where 2 minutes is actually understood as not being 2 minutes. And we are able to live with that for our entire life. And we actually even know the intensity of whether the 2 minutes is closer to 2 or closer to 5 or closer to 15 or 20. Beautiful.
But ma'am, you mentioned being in a lift, in an elevator. It's interesting what happens in different countries. Like in Singapore, it is illegal for you to urinate in an elevator. This is an actual law, and I thought, boss, how did you come up with this law? How many people were doing it on a regular basis? I've never walked into a lift and said, oh sir, what button should I press for you? No, I've just come here to take a piss. Has anyone been to Singapore? Chair, have you been to Singapore? Nothing ever happens in Singapore. Last time I went there, front page of the newspaper, there was a pig on the street. Boss, if there is a pig on the street in Singapore, that becomes headline news. In Germany, it becomes a sausage. Right? In America, it became the President of the United States of America. All right, who's next? There was this gentleman who had the microphone earlier, and then we'll come to this side of the room. Yeah, we'll come to you as well, ma'am. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hello.
Tell us your name, stand up, and please address our fabulous author. Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, Safir. So I'm a sports person basically. So I play for Rajasthan. So it's 100 meter, 50 meters air rifle. So 10 meter air rifle.
How far is he from-
not air rifle. 50 meter rifle and 10 meter air.
Okay.
Yeah. So for me, India seems to be very sports loving country. From running besides the bus and to and get into class at the last moment for the attendance. It seems to me like that. And I'm from Marwadi family, so I'm speaking here and I'm thinking what might be happening in my shop. And so yeah, this is the
Super. Let's give him a round of applause. Any Marwadis here? Any other Marwadis? Make some noise. Not loud enough. You're not even willing to spend energy, huh? All right. Who else? Somebody on this side? Yeah. Can we get a microphone to the lady over there? Then we'll come back to the gentleman over here. Yeah. Safir, by the way, this is your book launch. Anytime you want to participate, feel free. And any comments on anything that they're saying?
I'm still earning royalties while they're talking, so don't worry about that.
You're just taking material for your next book. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hi, good afternoon. So 2 things I feel are very Indian, and the first thing is that when we have folks over, so relatives or guests over at home, they chit chat, it's a great evening, and then they're about to leave. So while they're standing at the door and saying bye, they stand there for another 45 minutes. It really never happens anywhere, but the juiciest bits of the conversation actually happen at the door. So that's one thing. And the second thing is that we never say we are going. I know CJ will make a joke out of this, but we always say we are coming. So we say that Ami Ashchi, main aata hu. So it's a beautiful sentiment. We never really say goodbye. We always leave with the hope that we're going to be back again. So I think this is beautiful.
Story of my relationships, they just don't leave. I'm kidding. To the gentleman back there. And then we'll come to you, sir. Safir, did you want to comment on that?
There's a chapter in the book which is, by the same analogy, it's like when you offer food to somebody and we say, no, I've eaten too much, I don't want more. They say, but thoda aur le lo. So there's always that attitude, and that is why we are a country that always welcomes guests.
And the strange thing is this, there are people who are hungry and they will say no, and if you don't ask them 3 times, they will walk out thinking, "Are so rude, he didn't even ask me one more time." Yeah, there are people in the room like this, right? Sir, please. And then
Morning,
we come
everyone. My name is Homi Khajotia. I'm a Parsi from Mumbai. I have this funny anecdote that my grandmother used to say. As Indians, we are very adaptable, especially with the language. So when the dhobi would come in the morning, she would say, "Chalo idhar aao, kapde nikalo." So, later
Was she
on,
referring to the dhobi or hers?
that's what I'm saying.
Your grandmother sounds very
So-
interesting.
That's one thing. So moving on further, you're going in a Mumbai taxi, Kali Pili, and many a times the women would say, "Driver, idhar daba do." So, but it sounded so natural.
And it's surprising that we're running out of Parsis because it sounds like
Extinct.
with all this
extinct.
dabawing happening in taxis, there should be more procreation.
But the driver and the dhobi, he found it absolutely normal, the way of talking. So this is something I wanted to share.
Fabulous. Can we give him a round of applause? I have another story about Parsis, by the way. I grew up in Calcutta, which still has trams. And when the conductor wants to stop the tram, he pulls the bell once. When he wants to start it, he pulls it twice. So there was a Parsi lady, old lady, getting off the tram, and the conductor pulled the bell twice. She started shouting at him, "Tum kya karta, man? Hamra ek pair upar mein, ek pair nichu mein, tum beech mein ting ting marta hai." All right, can we get the microphone to this gentleman over here, and then we'll come to you, sir. This gentleman here first. He's been waiting. Yeah.
I'm from the UK, and I've really read your book with interest because every day I don't understand what is happening. I have 2 things to say. Is that last year I had a mark on my arm, and I went to the doctor, and I said, "Is it cancer?" And he said, "No, it's much worse." He said. I went, "Oh my God." He says, "Yes, it is old age." But my big question is, I have 2 grandchildren, so I come regularly to see them. Now I have a 3-year-old granddaughter. When she comes back from playgroup primary school, I said, "How is it?" And she just goes, "I don't understand. I want to know what that means."
So the great Indian head nod. Can you explain?
Yeah, I read your chapter with interest.
Yeah, so that's another beauty. Look at the diversity of our language, cultures, education levels. But no matter what, you were giving an example of your 3-year-old who cannot understand it. In India, we understand this and this, even if it's in the opposite direction.
So this is also, actually the head nod can mean anything. It can mean yes, it can mean no, it can mean I understand, and the more you understand, the faster you're supposed to shake your head. But there is also a cultural difference because you're from the UK, so I met this gentleman from the UK, and he said, "Oh, you're from India. I know what the Indians are like. I have seen Slumdog Millionaire." I said, "Oh, you're from England. I know what the English are like. I've seen Mr. Bean." But it's wonderful to have people like you who are actually making the effort to understand. I remember this English fellow said, "Oh, you Indians, you're so strange. You have these arranged marriages, these arranged weddings." I said, "Boss, have you been for an Indian wedding? Have you been for an Indian wedding? Give me a cheer if you have." You know what it's like, 3,000 people, 200 different functions, 40 kinds of food. You don't know who's coming, who's going, whose feet you're touching, right? An English wedding, 45 guests. These are the nameplates. This is the menu. We'll practice walking down the aisle. We'll practice the speech. We don't have arranged marriages. You do. Safir, you've got something in your book on arranged marriages as well. So let's hear that before we go to the next audience member.
I think let's go to the audience because there's more interesting quirks coming from there.
You're just crowdsourcing content. All right, who's next? This gentleman over here. Then we'll come to the lady over there, the gentleman there, and then we'll eventually come to you this side. Even here, sure.
So thank you for this hilarious session, such a contrast to intense conversations elsewhere. So I'm a teacher, and parents, Indian parents, they want to ensure that the teachers of their children are fantastic, and they contribute to their holistic development and they ensure that they get into great universities, but they themselves don't encourage their own children to become those great teachers. So that's one of the quirks I have felt. Yeah.
Super. Round of applause. Since you're right next door, let's get the microphone. Yeah.
Hi, Papa CJ. I've met you before, and I'm sure you don't remember, but you did a program for us for our company.
Okay.
And I just want to tell you something really funny, because this is regarding the staff at home. Each one will come up with a death in their home. It'll be the father, the mother who dies multiple times, and we just can't keep a track, So that's, to me, I just can't get over how many times their father dies, the grandfather dies, the mother dies. So it's,
But ma'am, this is perfectly logical because we are Hindu and we are reborn.
Yeah. And again, another very funny quirk about Indians is, so I come from a background of design. And every time, Indian goes abroad and comes back, he has a different idea. He goes to Switzerland, he wants a Swiss chalet. He goes to Spain, he wants a Spanish hacienda. And internally, it could be a room from Rajasthan, it could be, a Balinese, a spa from Bali, it could be anything. So this resonates with a book that Gautam Bhatia wrote called Punjabi Baroque.
Sorry, are we talking about different books at this platform? Yeah. Take that microphone away from her. Any comments about, because she spoke about the help. Your first chapter is called Ramu Kaka.
To the lawyers in my team, please note this name down, please. We get into action. Well, the interesting part is even when our villain dies, he's supposed to be a bad guy throughout the film, and it's also coming to Bollywood. But the last few minutes are devoted for his explanation to you why he's become bad, because you cannot complete a film till he tells you that he was good and he's become bad. So that's the beauty, that even bad in our country actually is from good.
Yeah, gentleman over there. And then we'll come to you, ma'am.
I actually live in the UK. You've been to my house, actually, Manchester, a long time ago. The concept of, when someone has a little baby and all the aunties go rushing around and they go, quick, 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 put a kala tikka behind the ear. I found that a really Indian concept, because obviously in England no one would do that. But in England, I'm actually Maori, so we love free meals. In England, people don't generally invite people that much for dinner. And we were in Delhi, and the neighbour
So
came.
that's also because your food is crap.
I agree with you. We were in Delhi, and the neighbour, sort of typical, come home, you must come home. It's like, so my three brothers showed up at this house. The family were in their pajamas. It was like, it's like an Indian invitation, isn't it? It's not really, because obviously in the UK, someone says come home for dinner, you expect a
So
dinner.
they were being respectful to you by keeping their pajamas on. I was gonna
go on.
Anybody here under the age of 18? Can you just cover her ears for a second, sir? Just cover her ears for a second. And can you cover that young boy's ears for a second as well? So when I spoke about not having the pajamas, I have to tell you this, you guys are a wonderful audience. Sometimes we get rowdy audiences as well. I was in a show in Singapore and this English guy, very drunk, started heckling me. I put him down. He started shouting at me. He said, I'm going to fuck you. I'm going to fucking you. Come outside. You come outside. I said, I'm sorry to disappoint, brother, but I never come outside. I said, I'm Indian. We did not get to a population of 1.4 billion by coming outside. Thank you for your contribution, sir. Yeah, there was a lady here. Ma'am, you wanted to speak? Mic to her. Then that lady over there. Safir, you want to contribute at any point? This is your book launch. Remember that. Please.
It is really wonderful being here in this session. My idea, my perspective of Indianness is to assert, because I'm from Jaipur, Rajasthan, and I do belong to a Rajput family. So my idea of this is to asserting my culture, identity, and being very proud of that, even if sometimes we're not that comfortable with that, like especially about the dress when the wedding is there in a scorching hot, and still we are being proud of that.
Yes.
Even though we are not that comfortable sometimes.
Absolutely. I think that deserves a round of applause. By the way, the gentleman from the UK, if you ever go to Safir's house, he's never wearing any pajamas. Right? And if you ask him why, what is this, he will just look you straight in the eye saying, this is India Unboxed. Right, who's next? There was somebody else. The lady over there, and then this young gentleman over here. Please, ma'am.
Firstly, I don't even think we're supposed to be here.
Keep going.
Yes. So it's about how comparison is very famous when you're in 10th grade or somewhere, and the parents just go like, "तुझे पता है महेश जी के बेटे ने इतना score किया, तूने कितना किया?" And then your mother, when you're like if I came to this literature fest, my mother in Gujarat is just gonna go, मेरी बेटी तो literature fest में गई, आपका बेटा ने क्या कर दिया?
Super, very good point. Let's have a round of applause for her. Yeah, we'll come to this gentleman, and then there's a guy right at the back there with the cool-looking shades. We'll come to you as well, sir.
So, hello. For me, unique about India is superstition that I haven't seen anywhere else. Don't leave at 12 o'clock. Kali Billy crossed the road. You can't cross right now, and stuff like that.
I'm amazed you were allowed to say this before 2 o'clock in the afternoon. All right, the gentleman at the back there with the dark glasses, yeah. Who's next after him? And then we'll go to the gentleman right at the back there. We'll come back to you, madam.
Hi, thank you for the wonderful session. And this is like the Indianness that I'm talking about is more personal, and everybody I think would relate. So Indian parents are not grown to be separated from their, children. When they go for
They're not
education.
even grown to be separated from each other, by the way. हमारे देश में divorce तो बोल दिया तो my God. Go ahead.
So yeah, I mean, by the time you're at your house, by the time you grow 22, 23, you're like, कि अच्छा कुछ नहीं करते हो, क्या है, क्या कर रहे हो, क्या नहीं कर रहे हो, what are you doing? And once you go out, and then they're all worried about what have you eaten, where are you going, what are you doing? So I think that is something that I think that Indian parents have that Indianness towards their children. So yeah.
So just so you know that this is being recorded and we're going to send this to your mother. Right, this lady will come to you. To the gentleman over there, please. He's been waiting for a while. Yeah, please. Safir, तुम्हारा second किताब तो निकल गया यार.
You know, in the book, there's a very interesting chapter that there's a very unique way in which parents put pressure on us to do a task that we don't want to do. The sentence is, "Tu mera raja beta nahi hai."
And this only happens to the betas. Does this happen to the betis as well? Yes? I'm just checking. I wasn't a beti, so not yet. I can identify as one maybe soon.
Hi. Hi, Safir. Hi, Papa. To me, India is party किसी की और किसी और की होती है, सब मेहमान बन जाते हैं. Safir का book launch है और Papa is running the whole flow in the action, not giving mic to Safir. We want to hear Safir a bit. Thank you, Papa.
Absolutely. Safir, stage is all yours. Pressure is all on you. The rest of it, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, lawyer के मुंह से comedy. ये भी एक बड़ी interesting बात है. But thank you all for a very engaging session. I really appreciate all the comments that you have given on.
Hello. अभी 20 मिनट बाकी हैं.
I'm not going on that. I'm just going on the fact that I won't get to do a thank you. So it's just the fact that very interesting, and that is the beauty of India. And we are in our 75th year, so therefore the 75 quirks were picked up. But it's a country that's going to live for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years. So let's have a round of applause for a beautiful country that we should appreciate in a far more giving way than the fact that we do.
And when are you standing for elections then?
I'm very proud about what's happening in the country, so I don't have to really stand. And you already said that at the airlines, I will be standing up no matter what happens. So.
Okay, anybody else? Do we have any? 5 minutes. And then we've got time for questions, right? This whole thing is questions only, Dennis. Don't worry. So we've got till 1:50. It's now 1:35. How much time do we have? We've got 10 minutes more. Super. We've got 10 minutes more. The gentleman over there, and then we'll come back to the lady over there. Sir, मैं नहीं बोल रहा, ये सब बोल रहे हैं.
Hi everyone. Hi Safir. I come from Chittorgarh, land of Marwar. I believe the Indianness is we Indians believe in hospitality. We are very, very hospitable, and the one we invite at our home, like we believe in serving, and like manwar. We do manwar a lot.
Let's have a round of applause for the young gentleman. Yeah, there was a lady in front here, second row, and then the dude right at the back. We'll come to you as well, sir.
To me, India is the Indian lota.
Just speak up, keep the mic closer, man.
The Indian lota that we eventually have transformed into the portable jet that all our kids and all of us carry when we're traveling.
There's a wonderful story about this. You know, the Brits got independence, and India got independence, the Brits went back. But there were a bunch of Brits who made friends with the Indians, and they used to keep coming to visit. This one fellow, Raju, went to meet his friend John in England, went to his house, had khana, then went to the loo, and he noticed, yeah, there's no lota. India mein to lota hota hai. There was no toilet paper. He heard, yeah, England has got toilet paper. He sees this little blue button. So he presses this button, this machine comes from behind, washes, wipes. You're like, yaar, kya technology hai? Following year, John comes to visit Raju. Now, of course, as our friend said, Indians are hospitable. So, khilao ze makki ki roti, sarson da saag, Indian food, heavy. Our friend needs to go. Goes to the bathroom, does his job, looks for toilet paper, no toilet paper. Then he looks for lota. India always had lota, no lota. He sees a small blue button. He's like, wow, yaar, Indian technology has really evolved. He presses the button, darwaja opens. One servant standing with a lota saying, "Ho gaya sir, main do दूं."
इसीलिए वो लोटा.
Right, we've got one more. Let's just take 2 more questions. Okay, the guy right at the back there, and then we'll come to this lady over there, and we'll definitely have to ask the lady over there as well. So 3 questions, and then we're going to be out of time.
So there's a term, good on you, which is quite usually, used outside, which somehow as soon as you tell something good about yourself, the other person is quite jealous. He's just like, acha, acha. So I made this term, what can I do for you so that I can do you?
Sir, ये तो आपने ज़्यादा अंग्रेजी बोल दी. Thank you so much, sir. Can we have a round of applause for this gentleman? This lady over there, just next to you, just in front of you, lady over there. Yeah, please. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm deceptively actually resident in India for a long time, married to an Indian. To me, something that's really Indian is bargaining. The love of bargaining.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you so much, ma'am. Any experiences about bargaining you want to talk about? Because we had known... No, there are too many. Okay, there was one more person. Oh, God. Gentleman over there with a hat, and then we'll come to this lady in the front, and then we will be out of time, I think. Yeah.
This habit of bargaining is so sick, so sick. I got into it from childhood. So once I went to Thailand, and they were selling the ties. And
Sir, can I ask you a standard immigration question? Can you state the nature and purpose of your visit to the country of Thailand?
Sunbathing.
I'm sure.
Sunbathing.
Whose son were you bathing? And was it a surprise that it was a son?
So I heard that you can do the bargaining in Thailand also. Everywhere it's a prevalent. So I went to the Thai shop, and the lady was there. She asked for 10 baht, and somebody has engraved in my mind that somebody says 10 baht, maybe Marwadis or whatever, that you ask for 1 baht. I did that, and that lady literally told me, fuck off.
Did you say 1 baht?
Baht.
All right, let's give him a round of applause. And don't expect him to buy you coffee afterwards. Come to the... Okay, almost out of time. 5 minutes left? Okay, 5 minutes. The lady in the front. Yes, ma'am.
Hi. So I feel one tendency that Indians have is to say ठीक है for everything while thinking in their minds कि अब तो हम करेंगे तो है नहीं इसको. So say ठीक है but not doing it.
But ma'am, people don't understand this because when Safir asked me to do his book launch, I said ठीक है.
So you are one of the unusual
And yet
ones.
somehow I'm here.
Unusual.
All right, I think we can take one last one. Then I'll pass it to Safir for some closing comments. Yeah, the lady over there, very enthusiastically. Oh, there's a guy standing. Okay.
Okay, so I'm from Rajasthan. My name is Nandini. Alright, so there's something about Indian men, okay? So like when they'll go to a funeral, you know, they go there and somebody's father had died, so they're gonna like go to him and say like, बहुत बुरा हुआ भाई साहब. But after 10 minutes, they're like, सेंसेक्स के हाल क्या है? सब ठीक है, market कैसा चल रहा है?
I think you've managed to explain this whole thing when you said you are from Rajasthan.
That's also Marwadi trait as well, so.
Absolutely. Give her a round of applause. Yeah, there's a guy, one person who's standing, maroon shirt. Sir, you had something to say?
Please raise your hand.
You come this side. Just come quickly. Come around.
सर आई थिंक एक और चीज़ बहुत भारतीय है,
हाँ जी,
इंडियन
बोलिए।
है, जो यहीं पर देखी जाती है, वो है जुगाड़। आप सर, आप किसी भी क्षेत्र में चले जाइए, मैं उत्तर प्रदेश से हूँ तो मैंने वहाँ पर देखा है सर, आप यू नो स्पेशली व्हीकुलर मूवमेंट जो होता है, बाइक को कैसे कार बना देते हैं सर, कार को कैसे बस बना देते हैं सर, वो ये यहीं पर हो सकता है और कहीं नहीं हो सकता दुनिया के किसी भी हिस्से में। तो ये अद्भुत है सर भारत के बारे में।
Absolutely. In fact, my father is here in the audience. He used to be the marketing manager of a tea company. And his job was to get retailers to stock his brand of chai. It was Goodrick. He hired an army of housewives who used to go from shop to shop and ask the shopkeeper, Goodrick ki chai hai? And the second they said, nahi, aap Tata tea le lo, ye le lo. They said, nahi, nahi, jab Goodrick hoga, tab aayenge. This happened for 3 weeks. 50 housewives would go to random shops. 3 weeks later, the salesman from the company went to the shop saying, do you want to stock Goodrick tea? They were like, yes, boss, हमें चाहिए. इसको बोलते हैं जुगाड़.
So I have to add on to it, like Marwadis and Indian, we have very strict relationship with money, that we are very stingy sometimes. But I
You
have
think?
Maybe, but I have 3 incidences that like you'll meet someone over a chai for the first time and you'll invite them to your daughter's wedding, and when guests come over, there is a fight literally that my mother and the aunt is there that I want to give the money to your daughter, but my mother is like, no, I won't take it, and it will go on for like 15 minutes. And it happens in a restaurant as well, that we fight for the bill, that who will pay, and the waiter is standing there, please pay for the bill.
Yeah, absolutely. Give her a round of applause. And after you've paid for the bill, when you leave, you're like, यार कितने कंजूस है, पैसे भी नहीं दिए.